So my departure from the Royal Air Force, I'd done the maximum really, because I'd done up to age 55. Because really and truly, you're not meant to go beyond that. A lot of people do, but it's like on a yearly basis. So I'd done the contract of 55 years, and I then left. And prior to leaving the Air Force or the Army or the Navy, the military, they will provide you with some sort of course, depending on what you want to do. And they will send you on that course, even if it's in Australia and that's the only place, they will send you there to do this. So they look after you very well. I wanted to have my own chauffeuring company, so I was sent on a course to get the higher level of qualification in driving vehicles and all that sort of thing. And I set up my own executive chauffeuring company, and I did that for 16 years. Now that was fabulous because I said to myself, I just couldn't go and sit in an office after traveling all these years all over the world and just sit in an office day in, day out. It wasn't for me. So I was still traveling. The only thing is I was traveling just in UK, so it narrowed it down to that. But I found that very good in terms of my customers. I wouldn't say anything until they asked me questions about my background. But once I started talking to them, sometimes they used to give me big tips for entertaining them because of the places I've traveled. And some of them will be going on holiday to some of these places, and I would say, oh, well, I've been there. No, they want to know why. So I tell them. So that became very good. And they kept saying to me, when are you going to write a book? Which eventually I did write a book about, you know. So yeah, I did that for 16 years, and I stopped that during COVID because all flying had stopped and all that sort of thing. So after that, I set up my own organization. So I stopped my chauffeuring company during COVID, and after that, I started my own organization called the Forgotten Generations, which is a CIC. Now, the reason for doing that is that I looked at my life wholesomely, and I thought, what happened to me as a young child in Jamaica must have happened to lots of other people, not just in Jamaica, but, you know. And I started to look at that, and I thought, that's an interesting thing. But I wanted to be a bit unique, so what I did was look at what happened. I put a big question mark in between. What happened to the kids who were left behind? What happened to the parents that traveled to whichever country, in this case, UK? And I thought, why don't I interview them and find out what sort of journey they've had? And it's been very interesting. Then I obviously say, I'm the military, so why don't I look at the military side as well? So I started looking, obviously nobody left in World War I, but I still would like to get information about people who served in World War I. But more interestingly, people who are still alive in World War II, and that's what I do a lot of, and I've done a lot of, interviewing these World War II veterans, some of which are past now, but I've got their story, live recording of their story. So that has been extremely good because I've linked with quite a few of these veterans and marvelous stories. And for me, it's an honor to be linked with those people who served for us and paved the way and made us free, basically. And I go around the country with my organization, the Forgotten Generations, and I do talks in schools, faith groups, churches, universities. I do research with universities based on African Caribbean experiences. And I say to youngsters when they ask, you know, life is what it is, and you need to grab it by the scruff of the neck. But what I really want from my organization is to show them people who have achieved, those people who have not been highlighted in life, so that the youngsters, they say seeing is believing. So if they see that there's people who look like them who have achieved certain things, and African and Caribbean people have achieved a great deal, but a lot of it is not written anywhere. Hence the name Forgotten Generations. So highlighting all these things has been amazing. And we're getting more and more invites into all sorts. And myself and a veteran got called to number 10 Downing Street. We were invited to the Queen's Jubilee big lunch. And sitting there having eats and things in number 10, we got tapped on the shoulder and we were given an award, the Points of Lights from which is a my Prime Ministerial Award. I think that started in 2012 for the work we're doing with the Forgotten Generation, the community. That was quite a surprise. And I was with a veteran when that happened. So that was fantastic.